Welcome to my show, Leslie Said What? Enjoy, guys.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Leslie Said What? I am super excited to have you all here. Oh my goodness, guys. Tonight is going to be great. It's going to be fabulous. I mean, let's just be for real. So be sure to say hello in the comments. If you don't know how all this works, just remember to be free. That's literally how this works. I want you to feel free to ask questions, feel free to participate, feel free to just enjoy the conversation. The whole point of Leslie Said What is to address questions that will leave you saying, what'd she say? Did she really say that? Yep, Leslie said what? Yes. Okay, so I am hoping that people's minds are transformed through transparency. So like any guest that I bring on, we are very transparent, very upfront about questions that are posted, okay, to help other people, okay, to change their mindsets and things that they may be struggling with. So join the conversation, enjoy. Now, y'all, I'm super excited because tonight, let me just tell you, I have an amazing woman of God. She's amazing. I love her. Her name is Marlo Rutz. We met over some barbecue. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. We did. We met over barbecue. So I am super excited for you guys to meet her. Marlo is going to talk to us tonight about our discussion question. We're going to all just chat and join the conversation together. All right, let's see who's here. All right, Connie Hope, hello. First time tuning in, excited to join. I am so excited that you are here, Connie. Karen, hey, how are you? I'm so excited that you are here as well. All right, so let me see the Michelle. Hello. Michelle says, oh, yay, two of my favorite women in one place. We love you, Michelle. We so love you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to show you guys just a quick video clip because Marlo actually also has her own live show. It is called Coffee Chats at the Cubbyhole, and it airs on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and it is awesome. So that you guys can get a little bit more information on what it's about, I'm going to show you this quick video clip, so just bear with me.
Hey there, I am so glad you're here. Come on in and enjoy Coffee Chat at the Cubbyhole. Okay, you might be thinking, coffee sounds fun, but girl, what is the Cubbyhole? The Cubbyhole was a divine little nudge on my heart, if you will, to build the space in our basement, in our home, where our friends and family could come and receive encouragement and love. And that's exactly what we've been doing. I've always known that the Cubbyhole would have a ripple effect out into the world, that it could bring encouragement and hope, not just to people that could visit here in person. That is exactly why I do Coffee Chats. I get to take some of the coolest people that are just like you and just like me, who have skill and talent, but most importantly, they have a vulnerable, relatable story that we can all glean some hope and encouragement from. So grab a coffee, cozy up, and enjoy Coffee Chats at the Cubbyhole.
Isn't that just incredible? I mean, it is. It's incredible. And so definitely tune in on Fridays Eastern Time, 10 a.m. to watch Coffee Chats at the Cubbyhole with Marlo. Okay, without further ado, it's time to bring Marlo in here. Okay, everybody, let's welcome Marlo Rutz. Hey, Marlo.
Leslie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, girl. You know I love you. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so happy you are here. And our time and schedules worked out. So this is awesome.
So cool. Yes. You asked me to be here and I said, girl, I will do anything for you. Anytime. You let me know.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited. So I was sharing with everyone that we are going to be discussing a topic or a question I feel like that helps everyone. I feel like everyone can glean a little something from this. So we are super excited to have you here to chat about this with us. For those of you who are watching and viewing, feel free to join the conversation. This is totally laid back. So have at it in the comments, drop your comments, and we will display them, any questions, and we'll all just talk together.
Yeah.
All right?
I love this topic. You're talking about embracing imperfection, and you were just talking about how we met over barbecue. And I literally had barbecue sauce all over my face, and I had like lettuce in my tooth when I first met you. And we all took a picture, and I was like, could somebody have told me? It was so funny. I didn't see it until I saw the picture, but I was like, get that girl a napkin.
Well, see, and that's the best way. The thing is like, hey, when two comedians meet, that's usually what happens.
I know,
There's got to be some type of craziness.
Can't be serious ever. No.
For sure. So let's dive right in, Marlo.
Yeah.
So we're talking about how do we embrace our imperfections? So for me, I know for me personally, it took me years to build enough confidence and self-esteem within myself and to embrace the things that are not necessarily quote unquote perfect, that isn't quite embraced or accepted.
Right.
But I had to learn to own who I am and who God has made me to be. So that's something that I know is hard for everyone. But I'd love to hear your point of view on it.
You know, I love this in the coaching arena. I love all the topics. This is such a powerful topic because it affects everybody. Even if we act like it doesn't, it does. And what I love to do is, in general, I like to break it down into 3 different ways of looking at it, 3 different ways of dissecting perfection. And the first is like, what is it?
Right.
Because what is so overwhelming is when we're overwhelmed by something and we don't even know what it is. And then the other is, when does it happen and how to look for it? And then what do you do about it? So that I love digging into this, because what I do with coaching and workshops is we go back to pivotal moments. And I want to talk about that in a second, but to just define what imperfection is, I mean, when you really look at the definition, first of all, it takes the power away from it. And imperfection, first of all, what is the definition? Who says what is perfect, right? What measuring stick are we going on?
Right.
Like when you stop, I always tell people, like, we get so close in on our fears and our doubts and the things that upset us, like, oh, perfection. And we're looking at it so closely, but when you pull back and breathe and you go, hold on, like, whose measuring stick am I using? So that's the first thing to do, because it can just cause these paralyzing, addicting beliefs about ourselves and what we're shooting for. And it's a moving target. So it's always the first thing. And then just knowing and catching yourself, feeling, when you feel like you're judging yourself or comparing yourself, there's no such thing as perfect. The definition of perfect is that we are absolutely 100% free of all defects and flaws. Girl, I don't know anybody. Well, we know Jesus, all right? So are we trying to claim we're trying? So Jesus is perfect, right? And we are made in God's image, and we gotta just back up and give ourselves some grace.
Yes, amen.
Yeah. So
Michelle says, How I embrace our imperfection with both arms, but I have to wait for him to get home from work. That's awesome, Michelle, though, that you have that.
We love our Michelle Van Dusen.
We do. She says, real talk. This is such a great topic.
Yeah,
thanks, girls. Well, we're glad you are enjoying it, Michelle.
It is such a good topic. But yeah, Leslie, that's the what, just defining it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And like you were saying, like it's someone who's free from flaws, free from all these different things. And Connie backs you up by saying lies. It's all lies.
They are lies. They are, you know,
Yeah.
that's one of the two buzz phrases that I talk to people about are our paralyzing perspectives and our sabotaging experiences. Both of those fall into with imperfection, both of them. The perspective that we're looking at, no, wrong. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's the wrong perspective, and we're too, zoomed in. And then the other is our sabotaging experiences. And I want to, in a little while, when we get more into the how, I want to talk about those sabotaging experiences and how they can help us shift our what we're doing to ourselves because of quote unquote imperfection.
Yeah. I and the thing is like, I know when you were talking, what came to my mind is like that whole phrase, well, they said that if you look this way, who is they?
Who said? Leslie said what? Leslie said what? Leslie is right. Girl, Leslie is right.
Exactly.
Leslie said what?
Leslie said what? Who is
Leslie
they?
said the truth.
For real, like who is they? It's just ridiculous.
I know. Who are they? And that's what I'm talking about. There's no such thing. It's a moving target. And do we care what they say anyway? Like what? That's when we are playing it small, when we can. And I'm not saying we can jump to this all the time, but when we can learn to speak and act with authority, the authority of just that Jesus inside of us, the Holy Spirit, that being made in God's image, then when we start to really believe that, and I know that is a process. Girl, we were just talking about this off camera. This has taken me years.
Yeah, me too.
We don't have to know who we are. We have to know who we belong to. And I don't mean that flippantly. I mean that for real. Like that's the shift in my life, is to just lay off of myself. I don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect. We are all.
And you touched on this a little bit when you were talking about the comparison game. Like it is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. The comparison game is absolutely ridiculous. Nobody looks like this any other. And if you do end up looking like that person or the way that you think that you want to look, they're still going to find something else and something else and find something else to the point where you have beat up yourself so much that by the end, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
To perfect.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that leads into the when. Like when do we feel that angst of imperfection? And the when is when we are triggered. And comparison is one of the main triggers that it just knocks us off of our feet. It will, because what we do is we just latch on like a bungee cord and a strong hook. We latch on to praise. That's what it's all about. See, that's what I'm all about. Like, that's what I do. I love what I do. I love the comedy side, but I love the coaching and speaking side because, boom, these light bulbs went off. They went off for me, and I just want to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
So we latch on to like the attachment to praise. And when we can, I love to help people get a shovel and start digging into their, my word is stories. What's your story? Like, what is your story? When we get a shovel and we start mining out the truth, that's where the stories are that makes us think the way that we think, then leads us to the byproduct of having to feel like we have to be perfect. But girl, in order to get to the gold deep down in there, we got to get through the dirt. We have to dig it. Dirt. We got to get to the dirt, and the dirt is things that make us think all these ridiculous things.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like that literally gets me is the amount of people who just, if they could just see past, like you said, that, I don't know, that facade or whatever that people paint as perfection, then they would understand that themselves have a lot more going on than they actually do. And so trying to pursue perfection can actually cripple you from pursuing your purpose.
Literally, that is another hot button. It's a hot button. I was just telling you earlier that I'm writing this chapter right now, and it's called Story Problems. And it's all about that. It's about this little equation or roadmap, if you will, that says that our problems are part of our story. But here's the kicker, Leslie, is when our story becomes our problem. And that's what happens is we all have these little stories, these little nuggets in our life, and they switch the way that we think. And that's where the trajectory goes. We have moments in our life that happen, and then we root in a belief about ourselves because of people around us or our own beliefs. And then we go on one road or we go on the other, and oftentimes it's a road where we're like, we've got this identity that we're not, not worthy, not, worthy of praise. We're not worthy of so many things. So I'm with you. It's all about that's the root. Yeah.
And see, and the thing is that along that road, the road gets curvier and more crooked and more dangerous as you travel on it, especially when you continuously to pull off the road onto social media.
Yes. Because you know what it is? I explain it in buckets. Like we have 2 buckets that we carry with us on a yoke. And what we do is we are constantly filling one of those buckets. One bucket says truth, and the other one says false. And those are our evidence buckets. Mm-hmm. And we are constantly collecting evidence at all times, whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
Like you said, social media will help you, unfortunately, fill your false truth bucket. I'm not worthy.
Say that, girl.
I'm not good enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not airbrushed enough. I'm not. My numbers aren't where their numbers are. We're constantly. We need a chiropractor because we're just off kilter. We need to fill up the truth buckets of who we are. Yeah. And if we just walk around with that visual and just know, if that's the only thing that people walk away from tonight is just say every moment of every day you are filling one of the buckets. Which bucket are you going to fill?
Say that. Yep. And see, the thing that gets me, I know this is like I had mentioned off the air, we're talking about physical imperfections, because a lot of times while we think like our physical imperfections like acne or weight or shape or whatever are small things, they become bigger things when we allow them to fester and we fixate on perfecting those things. Then it becomes a mental battle. It becomes a whole nother ball game that you end up swerving into. And again, social media is showing you otherwise.
You know what? And I wanted to go back to that. That was actually why I went down that path of the story problems. Thanks for mentioning that again, because those stories, the acne, the stuff. I mean, that's what I was starting to say that I'm writing about in that chapter. Is that God called me to do certain things years ago. And I was like, okay, that's fine, but I'm not doing it. Like,
thanks, Jesus, but no.
And I would like tell these little lies like, oh God, if you only knew my life, okay, if you only knew my life. Like, and I was like, I'm so busy. But what I was doing is I was diverting away from this calling to speak on stages because of pivotal moments that happened when I was little, young. They rooted in my head, and it was all based on having acne, having a unibrow, having a unistache, being the tallest girl, being the girl that they tease. And I couldn't read out. I didn't like to read out loud at all in class. And they would, how kids are, you stumble over words and they tease you. I had an absolute paralyzing fear of what God was calling me to do. And I lived in that root until years later, he showed me little bit by little bit. He just broke the clay off of this gold. We're all gold on the inside, but we have this protective clay on the outside. Yep. Little by little, he broke away the clay and started to show me that I am not the truth that I rooted in those beliefs. I gave my power and my worthiness and my beauty, inside, outside. I gave it away back on the playground. I gave it away, just in all those moments, in those pivotal moments. And that's the third part of what I want to just talk about tonight is the how. What do you do then? What do you do when you've got your truth is rooted in these stories? And it's really about, I mean, it's a longer process of explaining it, but in a nutshell, it's about going back and reframing those stories and telling now the truth.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The truth needs to be who God says we are. I don't care if we have whatever it is. I'm not trying to like downplay the issues that we might have physically or that we're feeling or that we really feel in our heart. I'm not saying don't feel them. I'm actually saying the opposite. Feel them. But then dig in and figure out where they started.
Yeah.
Where did that begin? It began in a pivotal moment where in these pivotal moments, like you can go on one road or the other road. But one road is the truth. And the other one is, like I always say, like a highway to hell. Like you're just going to be going up and down and, you know, you're just putting yourself through misery because you believed what happened. And the idea is to go back and look at it with the mindset of a grown adult instead of the mindset of the third grade. But it rooted in, you know what I'm saying? It rooted.
It's so true.
And then we just carried around like a sandbag for the rest of our life. And every time now we're on social media. Oh, see, I knew it. I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a constant reminder in your pocket that you take with you everywhere, even to the toilet.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Like literally, I have students who ask to go to the bathroom in class and will not go if they don't have their phones with them. Like you want that constant reminder in front of you to tell you that you're this, that, and the other, or you're not enough, or you're not. And the thing is when you said about pivotal moments, Marlo, you can say that 15 times because for me, like those pivotal moments growing up, a lot of people discount them because they're like, oh, the kids will be kids. Or, oh, you were just a child. Like, come on. But it takes years. I'm telling you, until I was 34. 34 before I finally was able to just break through all of those lies that were told to me growing up. Like literally, because if you're told almost every day of your life that you're nothing, that you're worthless, that you this, that, and the other, like I'm telling you, this is going to sound crazy. But I like even now to this day, the Hostess commercials taught me because back then the Hostess commercials was, hey, where's the cream filling? So every time I would get on the bus because I was fat, the kids would be like, yo, here she comes. Where's the cream filling? Every time that commercial comes, I mean, I promise you it's like a trigger. Because it stays with you. It
will trigger you in an instant. And the cool thing is now you recognize it. But before you recognize it, you would just maybe just start, playing it small or whatever it is. And it's so, isn't it? It's powerful. And that's why I love that you're doing this show and this topic, because that's really what paralyzes us is the not even knowing what it is. Not even know, like I say to women, when I invite them to workshops, like one of the phrases I use is, how are you? Or what is your outcome from a workshop? A lot of times women don't know. People don't know. They just know they don't feel good. Like they don't feel good about themselves. And I love what you said. You're talking about pivotal moments. And I often talk about how I became an addict in third grade, and I think a lot of people will relate with this, and maybe you too. Not to a substance. I became addicted to falling back on my negative beliefs without knowing I was doing it. And it's like a counterfeit comfort. Like when you're called to do something, it's like I'm just addicted to the path of least resistance because I've got this belief. I didn't even realize I had it, but it's like an addiction to just go toward that quote unquote drug instead of not. Yeah. And that's what trips us up. And it's so true. And yes, and you are 100% right. I do agree with you on that. Like that is definitely a fallback, and even like you would say an addiction for me, because like literally God called me to comedy a long time ago, but I was like, Lord, I love you, but I ain't getting on stage for nobody to ridicule me. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I know I'm funny. I know that this is a gift for me. I get it. But the thing is like I was so traumatized by being the constant center of attention negatively and being bullied all those years that I literally got to the point where there was no way I was going on a stage, because that confidence level, while it was great outside just one-on-one with friends, on a stage, all of those, that big audience to ridicule me the whole time. No. It wasn't until the Lord delivered my confidence and made it better and my self-esteem that now it's like, come on, bro, give me the mic. And that's why so many dreams die with the owner, because they don't go past that because they're just terrified. And Leslie, I love your story. I loved having you on my show because talk about the perfect example of this topic, that what you went through. Yeah. And I love your story. I love that you shared your story and all that you went through. And I think that's the power of both of our stories, and we're sharing this, is that it didn't happen overnight. It can happen overnight. With this information we have for you guys, it can happen a lot faster. It can be, the whole process can be expedited when you go, well, and Leslie said, what? Okay, I'm going to change things because of that show.
Yes.
I was meandering around, wandering around, like, I don't know. It's got to be frustrating for God. Don't you just imagine?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He's like, look.
You work with kids. It's like, he's working with all of us kids. Like I said, he probably told me years ago, he probably gave me all these great examples and like these light bulbs. And he's like, never mind. It's going to take another 30 years, but you're going to get there. And then you're going to do comedy and finally do speaking because you wouldn't listen the first time. But
yeah. And that's the thing is I was like, I know, okay, I'm supposed to be a comedian. I'm supposed to be a speaker. And I said, that's great, God, but give me some time. And then it was like, okay, I can do it. No, I need some more time.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, Jesus, I'm ready. But like you said, it takes time to heal. And then once you heal through all of that and you see God and you see how he sees you, then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Lord. I should have listened the first time. I know.
I know. And like what you're talking about there, Leslie, is it's important for people to remember, because we see it now in hindsight, that it's like a stair-step process. I often say it like a mountain. People we want to go from the bottom and then scale the mountain straight up. But it's like you have to go up and then carve out a little ledge and hang out there a while and dangle your feet and look around. And like it just slowly work your way up the mountain, because we have to factor in for those moments. Like maybe we get on stage and we bomb. We don't need to put that in our evidence collection of false truth. You stink and you're not a comedian. No, it goes in the truth bucket of, girl, you were courageous. You know what I'm saying? And the other truth bucket would be the little slip of paper we could put in that truth bucket in that moment is, you just saved some person that did not want to express their courage by bombing on stage. You showed somebody that you're still alive and it's okay if you bomb. There's so much goodness in failure. Fail forward. But if we don't ever take that step, we're missing. Yeah. Just do it. Do it messy. Just do it.
Just do it. See, that's what I keep. It's so funny. Me and my sisters have this conversation a lot. I'm always telling them, it's like, okay, so what is your purpose? Like, what is your dream? Now do it. Like, okay, tell me. Yes, that's great. Now do it. And they're like, wait, no, do it. Just do it. Because if not, I don't know about you, but the longer you let it fester, the longer the more doubt comes to your mind and excuses. And, it's like,
analysis paralysis. It happens. And, I was given so much advice over the years from marketing teams or whatever to just dive in. And I didn't. I was like, well, this, I have to do this. And then I have to do this. And what's my tagline? What are the pain points? I wanted all this mountain of information to follow me. And I'm like, no, I wish I would have listened, because I wasted it. I don't want to say, I like to reframe my statements, all the time. And that's another good thing to do, a practice to get into in embracing your imperfection, is to tell the truth that I just said a negative statement about myself. I'm going to go back and redo that. Okay. That's how we embrace our imperfection and just say, I didn't waste a lot of years. I spent a lot more years building my wisdom. That's what I did. instead of saying that I wasted it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, and that's why words have so much power. Like, literally, and that will replay in your mind and replay in your mind and replay in your mind. So that's why it should always be positive. Like definitely, like you said, like take that negative and shift it to be a positive. It's something that, we as teachers are taught, like when you're talking to a student, negate something with a positive. Like, so, like you said, like even embracing, look, I know, like this is a perfect example. The other day, one of my friends was telling me that she was so upset because somebody had called her fat. And I was like, right, I know this is harsh. I know this is going to sound like tough love, but you are. So, like, what's the big deal? You knew that. You already knew you were fat. Like, what's the big deal?
Take the power away from
it. My friend, just embrace it and own it.
That is awesome. That's your truth buckets.
Yeah.
You are. And by the way, what is the definition? Because you know what? In different cultures, there's different looks that are like, it just, what is fat anyway? We don't, and what? I mean, and we're all built a certain way. I'm never going to be this girlfriend or that girlfriend. And we're not going to be, we are all, it's just, but I love what you said, to name it and claim it. Stick it in your truth bucket and take the power away. You hit the nail on the head. Like, tell the truth. But first of all, go back to that first step in where we're defining perfection. Define and why does it have to even, what does that even mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So when we put it, I was just talking to a woman and she was like, she wanted to work on blaming, but she felt blame. She was feeling a lot of guilt that she would feel blame. And I'm like, why is that bad? I mean, you don't have to own it. You don't have to stay there forever, but own that you are blaming people right now for things. And that's how you heal it. You have to reveal what you're healing so you can deal with it. And then you can heal it. You can't do anything until you say the truth and reveal it. Get it out. Put it in your bucket. Put it in your bucket. That's
and see, and that's the thing. And I like how you say put it in your bucket with like you said, you keep filling that bucket and keep filling that bucket. Like I said, and just that goes with the whole thing of just owning it.
Own it. You're right, Leslie.
Own your bucket.
Own your bucket.
Own your bucket.
But fill the truth bucket. Take that junk. When you're not doing anything in your spare time, go through your false bucket, grab out the slips of paper and read them and go, I'm going to reframe this. I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to put it in my truth bucket. Yes. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I mean, we want to be equally yoked, with our partners, with our as believers. But in this case, you want to be unequally yoked. You want to have the truth. But you know what? If you were to look at a visual of people and their buckets, it's often the truth side is often never heavier than the other side.
I know.
There's so many false beliefs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I love the idea of the truth bucket and the false bucket. So it's like, hey, every time I put something in the false bucket, okay, time to fix it with the truth bucket. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And just balance it out. Like, make yourself do it as much as it's easier. Because honestly, it's easier to be negative. It's easier to embrace negativity. It's harder to accept the positivity because I don't know if you know that poem where it talks about our greatest fear is that not that we are inadequate, but that we are actually adequate. Yes. You know what I mean? And it goes on and on and on.
Marianne Williamson, I love that. It's not the fear of inadequacy. It's the fear of our abilities or shining the light on that. It's Marianne Williamson. That is a good poem. I love it.
I'm going to pull up the comments real quick. Michelle had said, love it. Not who we are, but whose we are.
Whose we are, yeah.
And Connie had mentioned the root. And then Karen said, God is our chiropractor. So the part when you were talking about with chiropractor, she's like, God is our chiropractor.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I have to pause there for a second.
Okay.
With that comment, Karen, I am highly encouraging that you go to, let's see, I can put the link in here with my coffee chats at the Cubbyhole last Friday, the coffee chat with Joy Lee, what you just said. Yes, you have to watch that coffee chat because it was so powerful. And we are talking about literally and figuratively having steel rods in our back to hold the literal or figurative weight on our shoulders or on our spine, and it's a powerful coffee.
That was so good. That was a really good one. You should, definitely put the link in the comments when you. Michelle said, I loved reading out loud in class, and if it didn't know the word, I made it up because this was what she was talking about when you were reading out loud.
Yes, I love Michelle.
Michelle is so funny.
She's
Connie
awesome.
said, now you can use your hurts to empower other women. So true, Connie. That is truly my goal and my aspiration is to literally just help women.
Yeah.
Put me in front of all of them. Like, I want them to understand their full potential.
Let's talk about that too, Leslie, because that's about putting a value on the pain, making it have value, and you are able to do it. I'm able to do it. We're all able to do it. When you go back and you look at those pivotal moments and those anchored beliefs, we get to reroute them with a purpose.
Yes,
and that's the beauty in it. Is to
yes.
Yeah.
And I love how you had said like the whole like, you know, pivoting through our stories or whatever, because literally if I look back at my life and all those horrible things that happened to me, if I hadn't gone through all that, I would so not be the strong person that I am now.
Yeah.
And all the things that I went through has built me to where I am now. So I use a little bit of all of that.
It's the truth. My mom raised us. She's a single mom, and she did the best that she could. And as adults, you know, she apologizes a lot for, I wish I could have given you more. I wish we could have had more. And I'm like, Mom, I wouldn't want when you're a kid, you're always, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I didn't have to wear tough skins from Kmart, or the grass tennis shoes or whatever they were. I don't know. But then you don't see it. But now I appreciate all of it, the whole big picture, all of it. And I tell her, please don't. If I had the chance to go back and do it differently, I genuinely wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And that is like, that's so true, because and the thing is like, I look at people who didn't grow up like I did and go through the things that I did. And I'm like, whoa, I mean, I'm kind of glad, Lord, that you kind of humbled me.
Right. Yes. And everybody has their journey. And I liked mine. I mean, I liked it just the way that it was.
Amen. I say that too. I'll second that. Connie said it's not our plan, but his. That's so true. And that's what we were talking about, like with our purpose. Like, it is essential that we follow not what we see, but see things through his eyes and ask him to show us.
Yes. Yes.
Great topic. So needed. I'm so glad. Yes. And that's the thing, guys. That's the whole point of this, is that I address those questions that we all may be having, but hey, we're not usually comfortable asking someone. Hey, I'll say it. So that's how that works. Like, I'll ask it. I'll talk about it, because everybody always says, Leslie, oh my gosh, what did you say? Yeah, Leslie said what?
You have such a voice for people, and that's part of the challenge with getting in touch with what you're feeling, or getting to the root of things, is that people just don't talk about it.
Yeah,
it's buried. True. It's buried. I always say it's, we push it down and push it down and push it down, and it's, it's like a Pillsbury dough can. It's gonna pop out.
It's gonna pop eventually.
Yeah.
Yep. Embrace it and let it go.
Yes.
Oh, hi Heather. How are you, honey? Connie says Joy's story is beautiful, and yes, it is. That was such a good episode.
Yeah, so I'm going to put that in the comments. It was.
Yeah, really, we'll definitely put that link in the comments, everybody.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think we delved into it well. What do you think?
I do too. One little piece of advice that I wanted to give is like what you can do is to journal, and to ask you. I wrote this question down for everybody because this just popped in. It was ask yourself, journal about this. What do I care about more than perfection? That's a great jumping off point for a journal entry. What do I care about more than perfection? And, examples would be, peace or courage or authenticity or health or joy. Put the attention, put the spotlight on those desires. And then it takes the power away from I can't say the word perfection without doing quote marks around it, because again, what is it?
Yeah.
It takes the energy away from it, and dealing and asking about perfection is such a energy draining word. And when you can take the energy and power away from that and put it into life-giving concepts, like like the word desire. What do you desire? Do you desire courage? Do you desire the other side of of fear? Because courage is always on the other side of fear. Is it peace? And, you know, the cool thing is when you start focusing on that, the byproduct is the relationships around you change. Because when we're snarly and judgy and angsty about our own darn selves, everybody around us feels it. So,
oh yeah.
yeah.
We put off this energy and this like horrible, like I guess what the word they say, aura around us. This like, and then you kind of people are like, I don't want any part of that. And then that's when we kind of start to like, you know, crumble up because we're like, nobody wants to be bothered with us. We turn into Eeyore. Nobody wants,
Right.
but it literally is. We're putting it off ourselves. You know, we're doing it for ourselves.
Yes, when we can tell the truth and reroute our power, girl, we'll be living more like Tigger. You're just bouncing all over.
Yeah.
Yes, happy. Like, I'm happy.
Yes, let's be Tigger. Be Tigger.
Be Tigger. Yes. We need
not Eeyore, guys. No Eeyores.
Not
Eeyore.
Eeyore. Oh, you know what? That's important, though. That's an important, what you just said about Eeyore, though, is, and it's so important to, like, if you're having an Eeyore moment, look at, we are using some Winnie the Pooh analogies here.
Yes, girl.
I love it. I love it. When we are feeling like Eeyore in the moment, you know, feel it in that moment. But you're like, you're saying, well, the truth you're saying, we're both saying is, don't live in the well. You know, like don't get in the well. Like, you know, Eeyore's climbing down in the well and telling everybody from the bottom of the well how bad it is, and wants everybody to come in the well with him. And it's like, we need our people too. You know, your tribe. Yeah. You got to be careful who you surround yourself with. You need people like I got my Michelle Van Dusens, I got the Leslie Robb, I got my girl. Yeah. And you need people on the outside of that well to throw you some goodness, you know, toss it your way, some powerful tools and truths to help yank you out of there. But don't stay in the Eeyore. But it's important if you want to cry or feel angry to feel it. But there's hope and inspiration on the other side of that emotion.
It's so true. It's so true. And that's something I often, like me and my students, I talked about this last week. We just did a unit on mental health. And I told them, I said, the epitome of mental health does not mean that you're happy all the time. It just means you can feel all of those emotions and find a healthy balance to them. That's being mentally well, not somebody who's happy all the time and putting on this front for everybody to think that they're just amazing. No, it's someone who feels it all. Like you said, we feel it.
Be aware. Just be aware of it and see it, spot it, and give yourself grace, but just know that there is hope. There is hope in rerouting those pivotal moments that cause us to just beat ourselves up because of some addictive, paralyzing belief.
It's so true. It's so true.
I know.
Oh man, is there any other questions or comments from the audience? Marlo, this has been awesome. As always, whenever we get together, I love it. I get so excited to see you. Oh my gosh. I love it.
Same way.
Oh, I just love it.
What you're doing is so cool, Leslie. Keep going with it because, and you're on oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. You're on the Creative Motion Network. That is just, whoop, whoop. That is so cool.
See, and that's another thing. It's like, I literally have always wanted a show, but I was like so intimidated because I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not polished enough. I'm not this enough. But that's what people need is the unpolished. So they need what I can offer. And it took years for me to embrace that. But hey, look at me now.
It's awesome.
It's like, hey, guys, come on. Like, let me talk to you about those things that nobody else wants to talk about. Let me help you to heal in places that people won't usually go.
It's,
you know? And I do it through questions, like bringing up questions on things that people need to heal through, but like, they often don't get the opportunity to.
Yes, exactly. We need to speak it out and tell more truth for sure.
So true.
You know, we were talking about it over the weekend. I was talking about it with some girlfriends that's why podcasts or video casts like this are so valuable because, you know, you can tune in the secret. You know, like when no one's watching, you can go, wait, what did Leslie say? What are they talking about? Because, like, oh, no, they're like, I never struggle with that. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, you don't want to talk about it. Oh, comparison. I never do that. What'd they say?
Yeah.
What are they talking about? I need to know. I need some truth. So in the quiet, while we're like, you know, organizing a cupboard or something, we're like, okay, I'm about to put that podcast on about imperfection because I don't want to tell anybody
See, and that's exactly why I came up with it. It's because
Yes.
I was always one of those people, and I know this is horrible, but in the church, like, you get encouraged not to say this. You get encouraged not to talk about this. This isn't talked about. Everything is great. All you have to do is pray about it. All you have to do is pray about it. Well, sometimes you need to talk about it.
You talk about it. Yes.
You need to talk about it. So
Yes.
let's just rip it off. Rip off the
Yes.
Band-Aid and just lay it out.
Yes.
And talk about it. So Leslie
Yes.
said, what?
Leslie
Yes,
said,
she did.
what? I love my Leslie Rob. I love my Leslie Rob.
Oh man. Okay, so everybody, so again, Marlo, a million times thank you. Next week, guys, we have, you guys ready for this? June Colson coming next week. Yes.
June Colson.
June
I love her. We love her, June.
Yes. And she's going to be talking, we're going to be discussing the question, why is it so hard to love church people? Yeah.
That's a good one.
Getting deep.
Oh,
Again, talking about things that people just don't talk about that they need to.
that is so good. Yes. That's the thing. People don't like, oh, I don't need to talk about that. Oh, I'm not feeling anything. Like, let's go ahead and tune into Leslie. See what
It's like, oh, I'm not thinking that. Wait, hold on. Let me just tune in this on the download. Nobody's gonna know I was watching.
you know what? I'm just gonna see what they say. I don't need it or anything.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go into the situation.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's like those seasoned people in the church that are saying, "Oh, I'm just listening, so I know what to pray for."
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm a helper by nature, and I just want to help.
I just want to help.
I don't
Tell
know.
me all of your business, so I know what to pray for you about.
Oh my gosh, Leslie. That is so funny.
Oh my gosh. Well, again, I loved having you. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're here. But definitely stay on. I'm going to pull you out. I'm going to close this out. And then I want to talk after. So don't go anywhere.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Leslie.
Okay. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, tune in next week, guys. Okay. We're going to be talking about next week, why is it so hard to love church people, with our guest speaker, Miss June Colson, coming to us live from Kentucky. Yep, from good old Kentucky. Okay, so I hope you guys all enjoyed this tonight and that you enjoyed the conversation. Have a good night.